LG vert ramp's about 14 foot tall, so out of all the vert ramps we ride every year, to me this is the best one. It's just faster, it's just smoother, it allows me to go high, and I mean they're all wide, that's not a problem, but I don't know, there's just something about this ramp, I just like it. It just gives me a lot more freedom and I enjoy myself riding it.
That's actually a scary soundbite if you're one of the other 13 competitors up on the deck, because when this guy's on his A game, he's pretty much unstoppable. And with some of the things we've seen him do on this ramp in practice, he's going to be a hard one to beat here. Koji Kraft rolling in for run number one, and we've talked about guys having a good year and sort of rededicating themselves, and Koji falls on that list as well for 2008.
Yeah, Koji's had another a really great year. I would kind of call it a comeback year, and I agree with you, Jimmy. But Koji's another rider that has all kinds of talent. He's just got to get it together in one run.
Yeah, he sort of had his head in the clouds over the last couple of years, and he hasn't been really focused, but something snapped midway through the season right after X Games, and he decided, hey, you know what, I got to get out there and actually try it. It's paying off. That was a turn-down flare, and it was actually going the wrong direction for Koji. We talked about opposite variations earlier. He turned to the left. That one's going to the right and hanging on. Oh, I say hanging on, but then he eats it on the other wall of the ramp. But still, from what we're used to seeing out of him, that was a great run.
Yeah, a really nice run for Koji. Just slides out on the double tail whip, but turn down flare looked really good. Take another look at it. Koji with the double tail whip. Looks like he gets his feet back on and then just gets a little crossways and comes off the bike and just slides out. Glad he's up and okay.
Yeah, that last rotation came around pretty late too. He was already halfway back into the ramp as the frame was coming back around. But again, glad to see him putting together an entire run. Gets a first run score of 86 flat, so not bad for the new and improved Koji Kraft. Yeah, that's actually our second highest score of the comp thus far. Here we go, Jimmy Walker coming down the roll-in, and here's a guy who's usually on his A game when it comes to competitions. We talked about opposite variations with Ben Snowden earlier. Jimmy falls into that category as well. He can do airs so smoothly going both directions, it's hard to tell which way is his natural direction.
Yeah, I really, really love watching Jimmy ride. Super smooth, and he's a vert rider's vert rider. He's got the tough tricks, goes both directions, makes everything look good. Really good style.
One thing Jimmy's been working on a lot the last couple of years have been 540 variations and flare variations. We may see a new flare variation out of him here at this comp. There's a turn down flare. He learned those last season.
Nice full pull for Jimmy so far, and he is really a vert purist. He rides a little bit of park, but this guy really focuses on vert. Anytime he shows up at the park, he's on the vert ramp.
That was a great combo line to cap it off. That was a truck driver 540 into an opposite flare.
Nice little invert on the flare, too. Another new one from Jimmy. Always up in his game.
Yeah, I called that a turn down flare. That was actually an invert. I've never seen him do an invert flare.
There's the opposite flare. And just didn't quite get enough rotation. Slides it out, but he's up and okay.
Even with the slide out at 87.75, and that puts him on top of the leaderboard here in the latter half of round number one. So nice job by Jimmy Walker.
You were thinking about a 900 there. What went through your mind?
I really wanted to do it, but sometimes healthy is better than not healthy, and I've been taking slams all week, so shut it down.
Not to mention you got a flight to catch in a couple hours.
Hell yeah, there's nothing worse than sitting on a plane broken, so I'm happy.
We've had an amazing season in 2008. Can we expect more Jimmy Walker madness in 2009?
Oh, absolutely, and I'm going to work on that 9 all winter, so.
We'll be looking forward next year.
Thanks, Catfish.
Congrats on a great year, man.
You too, man. Thanks.
Jimmy Walker obviously happy about that run. He talked about being banged up. Another guy who was taking a couple of hard knocks on the Action Sports World Tour this year, Steve McCann. It was back in October at the BMX Big Air Triples competition in Cincinnati, Ohio, where he goes down hard on this 720.
Yeah, Stevie went down hard, got up, had a shoulder injury. He's come back from it, but I know it's still affecting him. He's not 100%.
Yeah, the medics had told him that it might take him out of the championships, but he said, no way, I'm not missing this event. And here he is ready to roll in for run number one. And we talked about Knox, and takes a strange one right here.
And that looks like his chain snapped, Jimmy, and that happens to every bike rider at some point in his career, but not on the top of a ramp when you're getting ready to drop in. That is gnarly.
Now, it's a rare occurrence, and when it does happen, it could mean lights out. Take a look at the slow-mo here. You can barely see the chain coming off, and there's nothing you can do. You just have to ditch the bike.
You have all your torque on your pedal when you're trying to gain speed like that, and you just can't help but go over the bars. And not only goes over the bars, but he has a 14-foot ramp to fall down.
I think a large part of that was more shock than pain there. You can see him getting up and walking away under his own power with the medical staff. And like you said, it's happened to everyone in their career.
It's a reminder that anything can happen.
You see the look on Chad Kage's face. He's like, wow, that was bizarre. You don't see that too often. Speaking of Chad Kage, he is due up next. But before we see his run, we're going to take a ride along with Chad, if you will, and we're going to see what an average day is like in his life at Camp Woodward.
Well, the strange thing is, I always used to remark on what a small head he had, and I remember trying his hat on once, and it was so small. But as he's accumulated trophies, contest wins, and medals, strangely, his hats just don't fit the way they used to.
This has never, ever fit.
Wow. I have a lot of contest wins.
This is what I go ride. I come home and I leave my bike at camp, and I'll take this for a ride. Cell phone doesn't work because it's vibrating so much I can't feel my phone vibrate. It's so loud I can't hear it ring. It's nice to get away. So I've got another couple days here to just hang out, have good sessions with friends. So-called job on two wheels. We're at work now.
Work?
We're gonna go ride bicycles. We'll be riding bikes in here if you feel like joining us. Kind of stoked. I got some new people to ride with today. Having Simon and Zach come in. It's always nice to have a fresh perspective on the ramp. I realize it's the same exact ramp as always, but different people ride it different ways. Good sessions go down, riding with good friends. This is how the new tricks get invented and how contests become better. I'm going to go back to regular civilization. You have a nice day. Bye.
A lot of pro BMX vert riders have gravitated up there to the Woodward East facility, and it's really helped progress the sport. I mean, the kind of things that you see the Woodward guys doing on the vert ramp, I never dreamed would be possible, and yet we're seeing them in competitions time and time again.
Yeah, it goes to show with the guys that train at Woodward, including Daniel Dares, Kage, Kevin Robinson, and Bestwick. It definitely pays off.
And we mentioned earlier that Chad won this event in 2006. He was riding a little banged up last year. He ended up going out at the X Games. He broke his collarbone in several places, had to have surgery, took him out of the remainder of the season, but he came back big at the championships, and there's one of those video game style tricks, Steve. Yeah,
that's Chad Kage's version of the flare whip, upside down, and look at the run Chad has going. Huge, way out of the ramp, high degree of difficulty, got some of his own Chad Kage style thrown in.
And I have to point out something here that I pointed out in John Parker's run. The height maintained throughout the run. You didn't see him peak and then drop lower and lower as the run progressed. He kept that height all throughout.
Here's a Chad Kage double tail up, and I think going high on a vert ramp is one of the most difficult things, mostly when you increase the difficulty of the trick. I mean, vert is about going big, and Chad does it as good as anybody.
Look at where the front tire is in position on that trick mid-spin. It looks like he's going to hang that thing up, and then he rotates that thing around. 90.25, first rider to score in the 90s, and we've got a new leader here in the latter half of round number one, and the crowd definitely digging the flat spin flare whip. That's going to bring up Simon Sabran, a guy who's had success on the Action Sports World Tour in past years, and he's the focus of this week's LG Trictionary.
Hey, I'm Simon Tabron, and we're here at Woodward Camp in Pennsylvania, and today I'm going to show you for my Trictionary how to do an alley-oop 540. Now, the alley-oop 540 is a trick I came up with 9 or 10 years ago. Unlike a regular 5, you have to actually approach the 540 turning in your opposite direction, which for me is turning to the right, and then snap into the 540 late once I've set the alley-oop. The big thing for me is to try and